From the East Brunswick Jewish Center, I'm Rabbi Jeff Paivo. A small detail in this week's Torah portion caught my eye that I wanted to share with you. Included in the lengthy description of how the furnishings in the Mishkan were made is this short explanation of the copper washing stand. It says, Bezalel made the laver of copper and its stand of copper from the mirrors of the women who performed tasks at the entrance of the tent of meeting. Who were these women? What were they doing at the entrance to that tent? And what's the connection between their mirrors and the copper washing stand? The commentators give several fascinating explanations, but my favorite is Rashi's. Instead of reading the word tzvaot, as some translations have it, as tasks that they did before the tent, Rashi reads the word as armies. The explanation goes like this. These were the copper mirrors of the women whose husbands had slaved in Egypt. When the men would come home exhausted from their work, the women would look at themselves in their copper mirrors, and they would look at their husbands and say, I look a lot better than you. This would entice the men to have marital relations with them, and thus lead to many children being conceived. And those children, Rashi says, were the future army, tzvaot, that would serve God in years to come. This is only one interpretation of several, but what they all show is a love for detail and the driving Jewish need to understand the smallest element of the Torah's words for all the truths that those words can yield. It's only by lovingly examining even the most minute piece of the sacred text that we can grasp the fullness of its meaning. In this case, the same women who saved Israel by conceiving children, even when their husbands were dead tired, supplied the materials that will create the sacred washstand in the Mishkan. And that same washstand would, in turn, provide the water to test future women who had been accused of adultery. Thus, the copper of the washstand was a means of safeguarding the marriages of the Israelites 2 times over. First, when they were mirrors, and later when they were melted down to be reformed into the wash basin. In other words, Jewish women preserved our people time and again by insisting on marital fidelity and on conceiving children even in the worst of times. And people say the description of the tabernacle is boring. Shabbat Shalom.